Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where I came in here and I looked at this and I said, what is this war? And at that time we were zoomed in about like this, and I zoomed out and I was like, oh right, the awkward one. So apparently this is how I remember it. How did they get here? Did they walk all the way around this way? Yeah, they did. Okay. Well, France is attacking down over this way. It's fine. No worries at this point. We just need to get some of these sieges done. We just lost a general, and it was this general, so we need to replace him. So that is absolutely fine. That's a good general. And we can also convert a province, so we should certainly be working on that. Otherwise, we're mostly just chilling. We're waiting for this siege to finish, and then we want to go defend this area, for sure. France is sieging here, which seems great. They are flipping all of this territory over to us, so that is ideal. We're very, very happy that they're doing that. So, there's this out over here that I don't really care about right now. Although we do know that there's potentially an army coming this way, so these guys should probably stop drilling for right now. And we do have some additional forces on the way in here. France has an army headed this way as well, so it should be theoretically okay. We're up to 57% here, and we're hoping that we're able to come up and defend this. Okay, we got that siege done. Let's come up and fight here if we can. I'm actually going to force march this. We're still not catching them. Okay, I'd like to catch this 48k stack, and that's exactly what we're doing. So this siege is complete. That's great. Now we're going to push forward over this direction. Something like that. I'm going to send this force up to go defend up over here. But it's not a huge deal, right? They have noted our forces sitting right here, and they are just like, nope, and they're heading back. But France kind of has them trapped here. So I'm going to start marching this direction. Okay. So we're going to come down over here. You're not going to march there. You're going to come in like this. Okay, so we won a battle over here, and I think that was a small force. I don't think we stack wiped them. Let's unforce march so that we can take a morale bump once we have that month tick. And they're at 49% over here, but to be honest, I'm more concerned about fighting their armies over here than I am about defending this siege. It's fine. So that seems absolutely a-okay. They won the Siege of Canaan, and that's expected. So now we're going to fight them right up over here, and we stack wiped that. Beautiful. So we're going to get these guys grouped together, and you're going to walk back up over here. Okay, so we're heading up over this direction. That seems fine for now. And we won the Battle of... Was this the Battle of Manga? This is indeed the Battle of Manga. Okay, perfect. So we won the Battle of Manga, and we're going to head into Canaan now. I want to re-siege this. Okay, so at this point, this war's not looking so great for them, right? I mean, sure, they're at 383k for their total troop count. Thais has a lot of troops, no doubt about that. But let's take a look at what their manpower's like. And yes, I'm aware of this up over here. So if we look at their manpower, we can see 38k. So I'm going to retreat these guys back over here. This is absolutely fine. And these armies are going to head in while this one heads north to help out with this. So are we actually needing two armies to siege this? The answer is no. So I'm going to have one army back off again. Okay, these guys are going to reinforce, and we are just grouping these armies together because I want to go up and attack some of these forces up here. Yeah, they have a very large number of troops up over here, but I'm not that concerned about it right now. So as of right now, this is 14, 6, and 20. So both of these armies are good to go. But I want them to drill. I want them to be building up their quantity of drill for right now. So that looks good. And we're just sieging down here. I want to attack right up over here. Their large numbers of troops are a ways away. This is probably a 12k stack wipe. Yeah, perfect. This is going to take back from these two forts, so no issue there. Let's head over here and see if we can get another chunk of stack wiped troops. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Let's head over this way, see if we can do it again. This is Ayabid Abyssinia here. Are we at war with them? No, we're not. Okay. Good to know. So I would like to piece out Wandala eventually, but as of right now, I'm fairly content with where we are in this war. So that's another 2k troops that we just eliminated. Let's start taking back some of this territory up over here. What was this? That's their 126k stack. Now, I don't want to fight this, but they're going into Qatar, so they're running away. For the moment, that looks good. So the Siege of Canaan is over. Now we want to head in over here. And we can see France and Portugal are starting to come in over on this side. So that looks good. The question is, what can we even take from Thais? Well, I definitely like to take their territories that are up here. 1000%. And that's basically all we could take. We could take, like, this out over here, and yeah, that would be it right there. That would make a few people somewhat upset, but that's understood. So that's something that I would definitely be interested in doing. Let's head around over to here. Okay, and this siege is progressing, but it's fairly slow. That's fine. France and Portugal are running around out over here, and this war is pretty over. They're just not willing to admit it yet. So let's head off over this direction. They've got a fort here. Okay. And they're currently sieging in Fars. That's fine. So let's look at their manpower. They're at 63k manpower. Okay, so their manpower has been coming up, and ours has been going down, but that's mostly just because we're doing some very, very aggressive sieging at this moment. So that's fine. The sieges are going to run out. So this is A-okay for the moment. I want to attack here and here. And the rabbis can be sad. That's fine. So we're losing our great power status. And you might ask, why? Well, the answer is because we have not yet embraced industrialization. As you can see, it is currently in 7 of our provinces. We have 0% institution spread right now, and we should probably consider boosting our admin. Or rather, boosting our stability. I'm going to do that once. What's our cap? 1498. I'm going to boost it all the way up to 3. This way, we have 15% institution spread gain. So that looks good. And our manpower is continuing to dwindle, but this is absolutely fine. France and Portugal are here, and they can handle a lot of the high manpower requirements. Like, it's not an issue. We just lost a military leader. It was this military leader, and we need to wait until that cap is done. There we go. And now we can recruit up a new one. And there, that's fine. So I'd like to attack down over this way, but there's only so much territory over here we can actually get, right? Why is France black flagged? That's weird. I don't know why France is black flagged. They're not black flagged over here. Bizarre. Well, we're going to get this fort, and that will be absolutely fine. We have occupied out over here, and I'd love to get Thais knocked out of this war. That would be a huge, huge gain if we did that. So Thais knocked out of the war would be delightful. Are they willing to at this point? Well, if we were to separate piece them, they have 1,210 reasons not to do this. Obviously. They really, really don't want to do this. And that's fine. We need to occupy more of their territory. That's okay. We'll get there. So as far as Wandala goes, there's a lot over here that's occupied right now. They would accept a white piece. How much do we actually want to take from them, though? This is actually all we can do. Okay. That's very significant. Man, there's so much aggressive expansion down here. All of this is so developed. Wow. Okay. Sure. That's fine. So we just lost another military leader. That was this guy. And we also just finished up a siege. Oh, we're being attacked over here by their large army. We should reinforce this, but we're going to get kicked out of this area. We're very likely to lose this. We're going to have to force march around, or we just walk away and have hope that these guys can retreat. They should be able to retreat, right? 3 more days? Okay. I don't think they retreated. I was ordering them to retreat, and it wasn't letting me retreat even though the time frame was up. So I think that army got stack wiped. That's okay. I don't actually mind it. We'll get them replenished. So that's fine. We're going to put in another army over here. This is just a very, very large stack over this way, right? And it's fine. We've got Portugal running around over here. We've got France over here. It's not a big deal. So we're going to build ourselves a unit of green code infantry right down over here. And we'll just have these guys fall back for now. So for the moment, we just want to continue to push in sieges over this way. This siege here is over. France, actually Portugal, is attacking over here. France is going to get this finished up. We're going to siege right here. Minus 42%. Okay. I'm going to keep these stacked together, although I'm going to regret it. I don't want to keep them stacked together, but it's fine for now. I'd be playing this differently if we didn't have France and Portugal here, for sure. But they're here, and we can be kind of lazy. So that sounds good. So this out over here, I don't care about. This is a lot of money. Get out of here, rabbis. So this siege is going to be finished soon, and France is working on a siege down here as well. I'd like these guys to make their way down to here, but they're not in a position to get there until this siege is over. So that looks good. And let's see, -1 national unrest sounds pretty good right now too. I would not like to have too many rebellions ongoing. So at this point, Wandala wants peace, and the question is, are they willing to give us what we want? And the answer is this. No, they're not willing to give us what we want. They have 108 reasons not to. Fair enough. Demands exceed war score are 96 of those. And we're going to have a lot more war score on them soon. So that looks good. The siege of Sada is now over. So I want to head down here. This is 2 skill and 2 skill. Okay. So that's understood. So we'll continue to take territory down over this way. And these guys are just chilling up over here. Now, we need to have our leader here. There we go. And our manpower is going to be a little bit spicy for this. No doubt. But we'll have our 14 units there. That'll be fine. And how are we doing here? Oh, an exceptional year. That's good. So we're going to probably get the advantages over time. Yeah, definitely. 250 ducats. We're going to get it over time. So that looks good. We lost another general up over here. That's a really good general. Okay, so we're going to get back to drilling there. Looks great. Yeah, they have a large stack here. No, I don't care. It's fine. They can do that. So we're going to hop in over here. We're going to basically have to double siege this. And, oh, right. It's the recruitments down over here. So I'm going to cancel those recruitments. We'll get all of those canceled. There we go. Understood. We'll just have to wait. It's fine. Again, for the moment, I'm really not very concerned about it. We need this siege to wrap up, and that's very, very close. And then we should be willing to get these guys out of the war, especially once this force here is stack wiped. So we need this... Ooh, 100 admin power. Yes. We need this siege to end, and it's very, very close to ending. This siege here is going to take a while. That's understood. And these guys, they're just chilling for the time being. We can have them drill and just let France handle stuff up over here. It's fine. So that looks good for now. Azerbaijan entered into a military coalition against us. We don't care. These guys are trapped-ish in this area. We're at 57% here. Now we're at 64%. Surely one of these days we're going to get this, right? There we go. Perfect. We're going to come in here and stack wipe these lads. Get out of here. Okay, so they're stack wiped as expected, and we're just going to spread out over here, and this is going to be full occupation of Wandala. That is, of course, a big deal, and this battle is ongoing, so this is Thais and their big army. That's fine. We want to bleed them. It's okay. Yeah, we're out of manpower. It's understood. We're going to lose this battle. France is not nearby, so this is fine. I just want to bleed them for the moment. Okay, so we're going to retreat back up over to Sinai. Looks good. Absolutely fine with that. So, Wandala is going to be pieced out of this very shortly. Right now, in fact. So, Wandala is willing to give us this. These countries would join this. Now, will Mali be in that? Yes, they will. That's probably fine. Probably fine. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move back over this direction. Okay, so that looks good for the time being. We're going to need to core this, so we'll get going on that. Now, Mali's going to be very upset. And Mali is pretty strong, to be honest. So they're going to be very, very upset. And Portugal's opinion of us, not all that major in terms of aggressive expansion. But Portugal and France together, they're strong enough, more than strong enough, to deal with Mali. So I'm not worried about that at this time. These guys are retreating, and we next need to peace out... Well, we need to wait a few days. We next need to peace out Tais, right? Tais. And if we wanted to do that, that would be this down over here that we'd be looking to get. So how close are they to doing that? Well, they have 185 reasons not to right now. That's absolutely understood. So these guys are back up over here, and we're moving these armies back. Now, I'm going to swap these armies to be over here, and then this army is going to be over here, while these two I'm going to send up over this way. And that'll allow us to rebuild this army, and these guys, they'll slowly regenerate. For now, we'll have them just sit out over here. I say slowly, but we're gaining almost 3,000 manpower per month. So that seems reasonably good. Let's set an agenda. What can we do here? Overextension of less than 1% for admin power? That's pretty good. A base production, though, for building a marketplace, stock depot, or trade exchange, those are not the right words. But something along those lines, yeah, we'll absolutely build a stock exchange here for one base production. That seems great. That's underway. Okay, so Greater Air entered into the coalition against us. No shockers there. For the time being, this is absolutely fine. And we'll work on replenishing our forces here a little bit. As we can see, we're at 0 manpower, and we expect to remain there for a while. So Bazin is currently being flooded by French and Portuguese armies, and that's fine. Mali entered into the coalition against us. No shockers there either. What we're waiting on right now is Thais to be willing to exit this, and I feel like what we really need for that to happen is for these sieges to wrap up. Because they're not willing to give us what we want right now, we need the French and Portuguese to start heading over this way. Now, we're going to need to move some forces over, and we're working on it. So we've got these guys coming in here, and I'd like to stack together all of these armies somewhere around here. Now, we've got some French nearby, but we absolutely do want to get our armies together, and I'd like to catch this force. The French are moving into attack. Now, the main force is gone, but we're going to definitely head in over this way. I'd love to help out the French over here, but it looks like they're not going to catch anything. They're going to just siege here, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to have this army be the army that heads in to siege here, while these guys are going to grab some surrounding territory. That seems fine. Thais is at 145k manpower. Wow. Where did they get that from? Disbanding. They're down to 155k troops. Okay. Noted. So that's all fine for the moment, and we're going to be finished up with these sieges out over here very, very soon. So that looks good. There's one siege done. And the other? Not quite. But it's getting there. So that looks good. The French are just kind of running around over here, not doing much. They're not actually progressing on this siege. So that's understood. We can now embrace an institution. And that's probably a good thing to do. Let's go ahead and do this. So there's that done. National tax modifier, but almost more importantly right now, national manpower modifier plus 25%. That's a pretty big deal. So we do want to swap over to focusing diplomatic power, which we're going to do. And we can celebrate a festival, which we're going to do. But we're going to be taking more territory here. So this will, of course, require more admin power. We just got more, so that's great. And as we can see, we're pushing through these areas over here. So there's not all that much that needs to happen here. We are approaching our maximum amount of admin power, which is currently 999. We have one more month of this. So, Thais, what are you thinking at this point? Minus 150? They don't want out yet. And that's understood. And actually, I want these guys to be a bit more spread out than this. So let's do something like that for now. Do we want to grab this admin tech? Not really is the answer. So instead, I'm going to go in and I'm going to spend this on developing the base tax. We'll sort by the cost, where it's cheapest, and we'll just do a little bit of tax development here. Not much. There we go. Something like that. That'll be fine for the moment. And we'll get all of this finished up down here. What's our current force limit? Our force limit is 450. So we could probably think about expanding our armies. What's our combat width? It's still 40. And this Miltech is not going to boost our combat width. Okay, so more armies is the answer then. So this fort has fallen. And the French are just continuing to prosecute the war down this direction. So that looks great. We're going to recall our diplomat with Armenia. And let's just continue to work our way through this. Manpower is definitely a big problem for us at this moment. Kilwa entered into a treaty of support independence. I'm not surprised. But yeah, 333 per month, that's not bad. That is not bad. So we'll continue to work on this. This is all fully occupied at this point, and we need Thais to want out of this war. Question is, when are they going to be willing to exit it? Well, this fort will fall eventually. They're clearly losing the war, right? There's no real way around it. So if we look at this, we can see they're at 133 reasons now. So they really don't want out of this war yet. Understood. I kind of do want out of this war. People are entering into treaties of support independence, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. We do need to get our manpower back, and we need to build up our troop count, though. That's going to be our next goals after this. So we're just waiting on this siege to finish up. Hopefully it'll finish soon. Hopefully. 28%. Okay. 0% out over here. So we're definitely making progress on these sieges. What's this at? Minus 14? Okay. So that's making progress. So I'm going to move these guys back up over this direction. Okay, I don't care about the naval maintenance necessarily, so this is fine. That's a short-term problem. Okay, so this siege is now over. That's a big deal. So we're going to move out of there, and we're going to grab right here. We're no longer taking attrition here. So we do have these guys currently taking attrition, but these are taking attrition. That is because there's a large army moving through this area. That should not be the case long term. Okay, so that sounds good. How short are we right now? 31,000? That's not too bad. So, Thais, what are you thinking at this point? 132 reasons. Ongoing battles. Where? Up over here? Maybe. France has got all of that under control. So that sounds good. Portugal has proclaimed themselves as the economic hegemon. Good for them. Good for them. So we're going to let our allies do any future siege. At this point, what I want to do is I want to bring our forces back home and start working on replenishing, because that is absolutely a major deal at this point. So I'm going to get these guys drilling. And we need to replenish our forces significantly. We know that this up over here is going to need a lot more. But yeah, overall, this looks good. So Bazin wants peace, and yeah, we're gaining monthly war exhaustion. I'm aware of this. We're going to gain the admin power. So we're capped on our admin power right now, and I'm thinking that I am actually going to grab this admin tech. Okay, it'll do for now. So at this moment, we're waiting on this siege to finish, which will be soon. And there's this siege out over here. Thais wants peace. They are willing to do some things, but they're not willing to do these things, and these are the things that I want. So, this siege will finish eventually. This is currently Armenia leading this, but Portugal has the majority of the troops there. Bazin wants peace, sure. We're going to be piecing out of this as soon as we can. We're very, very close. They've only got a couple of forts left. So that looks good. In the meantime, remember, we are busily keeping our forces regenerating. So I want to spread these guys out, and we're going to be regenerating at a pretty good clip. About 10,000 per 3 months, and we're only about 3 months away from that. So that looks good. We're going to start building up manpower. Kinami separatists down over here. Okay, so I'm going to send this force down to go deal with that. They popped on a fort, so no concern there. No surprises either, to be clear. So our war exhaustion is high, and that's absolutely a problem, but we did complete a couple of cores there, so that is, of course, big. And we can make these into states, which we're definitely interested in doing. The states out over here are a little awkward, but it's fine. Okay, so this is done. We're sieging down over here now, already at 21%, 35%. How much money do we have right now? This is a lot of money. Okay, we can try to ease the tension, and we're definitely going to do that. This fort down over here isn't going away anytime soon, but these up over here are doing very, very well. So that looks good. We managed to win this battle, and we're going to head back up north. We are building up our manpower again, and we're building it up quite quickly. And I want to certainly be expanding this army with that manpower. So we'll get that going. As we get that manpower coming in, we certainly want to do that. Okay. So out over here, we finally have a breach in this fort, so that's good. And we're 100%. So Thais is actually willing to do this now. Bazin has unconditionally surrendered, and Thais is willing to give us all of this. We cannot take more, but that's okay. Everyone already hates us in this region anyway, so I don't think this is a problem. Okay, so we got all of that. That looks good. We're going to need to core that, and that's a high priority. But we need more admin power. That's understood. Now the question is, Bazin. What are we going to take from them? That's definitely an interesting question. I'd like to take all of their coastline. They're not super high development. If we were to do this, that'll make everybody angry. But I think that's fine. We're not going to be able to expand for a while because of coalition. But it's probably fine. It'll cost a lot of admin power to get that all cored. So we're going to have a really, really high overextension. But I feel like it's fine. Okay. So that's done. We don't need a fort here, I don't think. Let's get rid of that fort. There we go. And then otherwise, do we feel like we even need this fort anymore? What level is this fort? They're both level 8. I think we'll get rid of this one. Okay, that'll do for now. And we're going to have to spend quite a lot of time coring this. No doubt about that. Our troops are already home, though, and are already drilling, so that all looks good. It's going to take some time to get that all done, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to work on coring heavily. We have a lot of coring ahead of us, and we need to chill. We absolutely need to chill. We've made approximately the entire world angry. So, there's that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.